The early morning calm of my ranch was shattered by the sudden slam of car doors. I looked up from my coffee, eyes narrowing as a minivan pulled up beside my private gate. Four strangers spilled out, unloading paddle boards and coolers as if they owned the place. Their laughter echoed across the quiet land, completely ignoring the "No Trespassing" sign I had posted years ago. I set my mug down and walked toward them, my voice steady but firm. "Excuse me, this is private property. The lake isn't open to the public." One woman, wearing oversized designer sunglasses, turned to face me with a puzzled expression. "But we booked this online," she said, holding up her phone. My heart sank when I saw the screen. A booking confirmation for Peaceful Waters Lake access, complete with a date, time slot, and a cheerful welcome message. The lake in the photo was unmistakably mine. "Where exactly did you book this?" I asked, already suspecting the answer. She scrolled through the page. "Through the Riverside Estates HOA community site. It says it's a new amenity for residents and guests." Riverside Estates. The name hit me like a punch. My ranch, a sprawling 100-acre sanctuary I had nurtured for 15 years, sat just outside the HOA's boundary. The 20-acre lake on my property was a private haven, no public access, no rentals, no exceptions. But apparently the HOA president, Patricia Hartwell, had other ideas. Patricia was the kind of person who commanded attention the moment she entered a room. Mid-S, always impeccably dressed, with a smile that could charm or cut you down in an instant. Around the neighborhood, people quietly called her Karen. For 6 months, she had been obsessed with my lake. It started with polite suggestions at community meetings. "Wouldn't it be wonderful if the lake could be shared?" she'd say, locking eyes with me. I always declined, politely but firmly. Then came the letters on official HOA letterhead, suggesting partnerships and community cooperation. Surprise visits from committee members followed, along with thinly veiled comments about how sharing the lake could boost property values. I said no every time. But listing my lake online and charging people for access, that was a line she crossed. I apologized to the family, sent them on their way, and immediately checked the Riverside Estates website. There it was, a professional-looking listing with photos of my lake taken from the roadside, pricing packages, and glowing 5-star reviews praising the peaceful atmosphere and excellent fishing. The contact name, Patricia Hartwell. I printed everything and called my lawyer, Janet. "She's charging people to access your private property without permission," Janet said flatly. "That's fraud, trespassing, theft by deception." I asked what we could do. Janet paused. "Before we swing the hammer, let's see how deep this goes." Over the next week, more families arrived with bookings. I turned them away, collected statements, and installed security cameras. Patricia doubled down, sending emails accusing me of selfishness and harming community value. Then Janet called with news that changed everything. The property next to mine, the 5-acre Miller lot, was up for sale. It bordered both my land and Patricia's backyard. More importantly, it controlled the only practical access point from Riverside Estates to my lake. The Millers were divorcing and needed a quick sale. 2 weeks later, my LLC, Pine Valley Investments, owned the property outright. Cash offer, no contingencies. Patricia had no idea who bought it. The very next morning, construction trucks arrived at 7 a.m. By noon, an 8-foot privacy fence was rising along the entire boundary, fully permitted and legal, blocking any path from the HOA side to my lake. Patricia showed up in a silver SUV, storming out in yoga pants, furious. "You can't do this. This blocks community lake access," she screamed at the foreman. "We're following the property owner's instructions," he said calmly. "I demand to speak to the owner." "Pine Valley Investments," the foreman replied. "I just build fences." I watched the scene unfold from my security feed, sipping coffee. Patricia made call after call to the county, the realtor, even the police. Every answer was the same: private property, legal fence, nothing to enforce. By evening, she left my lawyer a voicemail so unhinged that Janet saved it for later. Saturday arrived with chaos. 12 families showed up at the gate, expecting their lake day, only to find the fence blocking all access. No gate, no explanation. Patricia stood there, refunding money from her own pocket, insisting it was just temporary. But the damage was done. The community was confused, frustrated, and angry. By Monday, I received an official notice from the HOA demanding I remove the fence and stop interfering with what they called community amenities. They scheduled an emergency board meeting. Perfect. I prepared myself, bringing Janet and a thick folder filled with evidence, screenshots, timestamps, security footage, and signed statements from 37 families who had been misled by Patricia's unauthorized booking system. When the meeting began, I stood and spoke clearly. First, the fence is on property I legally own. Second, this booking system is unauthorized and fraudulent. I handed out the documents. The room fell silent. One board member finally asked Patricia, "Did you do this?" She stammered. "I was trying to increase property value." "Where did the money go?" another member demanded. Patricia froze. Janet stepped forward. "Unless this is resolved immediately, we will file criminal charges for fraud, theft by deception, trespassing, and harassment." The vote to remove Patricia as HOA president was unanimous. But that wasn't the end. The district attorney filed 17 fraud counts against her. Her real estate company launched an ethics investigation. In panic, Patricia sold her house at a loss and even tried to buy the Miller property from my LLC. Janet declined. 3 months later, Patricia pleaded guilty. She received probation, community service, and was ordered to pay restitution. The last time anyone saw her in Riverside Estates, she sat in her car staring at my fence for 20 minutes before driving away. I kept the land, planting native trees and turning it into a nature preserve. The fence still stands with a simple sign: private property, permission denied. This story isn't just about a fence or a lake. It's about standing up for what's right, protecting your property, and fighting back against those who try to take advantage. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything. Thank you for watching.